Ladies and gentlemen, today we have a very interesting video to get into because we have leaks, rumors, updates, Nintendo Switch 2 news, we have it all. And I mean, it's just going to be a really fun video to get into. So let's just go ahead and get right into this one. So if you cannot tell, I am very sick. You can hear it in my voice, but you may ask, how sick are you?
Yeah! That was legitness. Yeah, it was, huh?
Yeah, some would say I'm extremely sick. Whoa! I think the only thing that can cure my sickness right now would be a Nintendo Switch 2 pre-order, Nintendo. Yeah, how about you get on that right away, buckaroo? I know, I'm getting a little crazy here. Maybe it's because I have a fever, or maybe it's because I just want to play the damn Nintendo Switch 2. Regardless, we have a very fun video to get into today. So before we get started, if you could hit a like and subscribe, that would really mean the world to me. And let's just go ahead and get right into this one. So first, let's go with a little update, or maybe an update, I'm not really sure. The Nintendo Switch 2 pre-order, I think it's happening this week, or at least we'll get an update this week. I'm thinking on April 17th, that is the day of the Mario Kart World Direct. And I still find this whole Direct very strange. It's like, we've seen the trailer, we've seen it in the Switch 2 reveal, we've seen it in the Switch 2 Direct, we've seen hands-on gameplay. What else do you really need to show us about this game? In my opinion, something during that Direct is going to maybe not like make the $80 price point okay, but I think it might explain their reasoning a little bit more. Maybe there's an adventure mode, and maybe there's a miniature 3D Mario game inside of Mario Kart. Regardless, I think that day we will have an update about the Switch 2 pre-order. So I want to show you this little placeholder that's going around, and this is from Amazon. And I know this is just a placeholder. I could be mistaken, but I think you could pre-order it in Europe, like when the pre-orders went live from Amazon, or I could be wrong. But now that this placeholder is here, I kind of feel like it's more evidence that it is coming this week, or we're getting some kind of update this week. So yeah, I just wanted to show you this quickly because we need any kind of good news that we can get. So before we get into some big Nintendo Switch 2 game leaks, I want to show you this right here. Nintendo offers first look at the Switch Online app on the Switch 2. This is the Nintendo Switch UI. We've seen this already, but seeing it right here, I guess it looks a little bit more clean than the Nintendo Switch. Couple more buttons down here. We have the voice chat button right here. I cannot think what this button is for. I'll be honest, I don't really care right now though. We have the controller button. I don't really care about any of this. Seeing this right here though, it really does look a lot cleaner. I know this is just my opinion, but I just think it looks cleaner. And I know they said they wanted this app and the eShop to run better, and they worked on it to run better. So I'm just gonna take them at their word. But yeah, this looks a lot better. And it is crazy, Nintendo Switch Online, like all the games are now called Nintendo Classics. So that is the branding they are going with. But I have a question about how all this works. How does Sega fit into this now? Because it's all called Nintendo Classics, but Sega is not Nintendo. Nintendo is buying Sega, confirmed. You heard it here first, guys. Yeah, I mean, essentially it just looks like what it is on the Switch, but I do think it looks a little bit cleaner. And yeah, just seeing something like this makes me want to play the Switch 2 really, really bad right now. So now, ladies and gentlemen, let's get into two Nintendo Switch 2 game leaks. One of them is a straight up leak, like a game leak, but another one is a leak, not for a game, but I think it might circle back to a game. So we have this post coming from Nash Weedle. 2 months ago, I talked about how Metroid Prime 4 would arrive with new control mechanics associated with the new Switch 2 hardware, as what happened with Metroid Prime 2 from GameCube to the Wii. Then we had the Wii's exclusive Metroid Prime 3, as it will happen with Metroid Prime 5 on the Switch 2, which is crazy. Already talking about Metroid Prime 5. Like, I know this is kind of thinking too far into the future, but this is the second post Nash Weedle has talked about Metroid Prime 5, but I've heard Metroid Prime 5 was being worked on at the exact same time as Metroid Prime 4. And obviously we know this will be a Nintendo Switch 2 exclusive, so it will really like utilize the hardware. We see how impressive Metroid Prime 4 is looking. And I know that it's on the Switch as well, but I'm still considering it a Switch 2 game, like with the mouse mode and the 4K and 120 frames per second and all that good stuff. It's like, yeah, it's going to look incredible on the Switch, but it's going to look better on the Switch 2, but at the same time, it still is a Switch game technically. Metroid Prime 5 is only going to be a Switch 2 game, and the rumor is it's already being worked on. I could see this be like a very quick turnaround. Metroid Prime 4 is coming out this year. I could see Metroid Prime 5 like 2027 or something. And that's just crazy. But very good news, very promising. And I really hope Retro Studios just has everything finally figured out. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let's get into another leak. And it is Nintendo, and it is Mario, but it isn't a game. But I think it might hint at a future game. Official film distributor Do Kind lists the Super Mario Bros. Movie sequel having a science fiction genre. Seems like they're basing it off Super Mario Galaxy. So this is a Super Mario movie leak or rumor, whatever you want to call it, but they're saying it has a science fiction genre, and I think that part is probably going to be confirmed. I also think Super Mario Galaxy would be an amazing movie. I think there's so many possibilities, right? So what I'm thinking or theorizing is we are going to get another Super Mario Galaxy entry, and it's going to go one of two ways. Super Mario Galaxy 3 or Super Mario Galaxy 1 and 2, like a packaged deal and a remaster or something. And now that I'm thinking about it, out of all the 3D Marios, correct me if I'm wrong, Super Mario Galaxy is the only one to ever have a direct sequel, right? 64 didn't, Sunshine. The Bastards didn't make a sequel to that. It's my favorite Mario game of all time. Galaxy did. I guess 3D World plus Bowser's Fury, like that would count. And that doesn't have a sequel. Super Mario Odyssey doesn't have a sequel. So I just find it strange that Super Mario Galaxy is the only Mario game that got a sequel or 3D Mario game. And now this movie is probably going to be based off that. I'm calling it now. I really think we get a new Super Mario Galaxy game for the Nintendo Switch 2. And it's going to line up perfectly with the movie. We know the last time the movie came out, we got like 10 Mario adjacent games within like a year. So yeah, new Super Mario Galaxy 3 or 1 and 2 packaged, and it's like a remaster. One of the two. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let's get on to some more Nintendo Switch stuff. This isn't really an update or anything, but I do think it's pretty fun to compare the Nintendo Switch 2 to other consoles. Obviously, I have not played it yet, but a lot of people are playing it and they're taking other consoles, and it's just going to be fun to compare them. So first, we have this post right here. This is the Nintendo Switch 2 compared to the Nintendo Switch OLED. And yeah, dude, it is way freaking bigger than the Switch OLED. I really wish we can get it compared to the Switch Lite, because I think the OG Switch is the same size as the Switch OLED, just the bezels are a little bit bigger or a little bit smaller on the Switch OLED. Like the screen obviously is way bigger up here, but the Joy-Cons, man, they look way, way bigger and just way more comfortable. We also have this post right here, and it's being compared to a Steam Deck. I have never held a Steam Deck my entire life. I always assumed it's like a massive console. The Nintendo Switch 2 looks damn near the same size. Like, yes, the Steam Deck is a little bit bigger, but the Switch 2 looks really, really big. But what I've heard is the Switch 2 is way thinner and just way more comfortable. And this can slide into like your backpack way easier because it's so thin compared to the Steam Deck. I have not held a Steam Deck. The biggest console I think I could personally compare it to is the PlayStation Portal. And when I had the PlayStation Portal, man, that thing was so freaking big. I think the screen is also 8 inches. But I had to, instead of hold it like this, like I would a Switch, like by my face, I would have to move back and like hold it back here. So I wonder if I'm just like chilling on the bed or the couch while I still hold the Switch 2 like this, or I really have to adjust like I did with the PlayStation Portal. But yeah, man, it's a lot bigger than I thought it was. But I mean, it's not a bad thing. Bigger screen, bigger Joy-Cons. I have big hands, so this is just going to be super comfortable for me. Very curious about how the mouse mode will feel. I'm just going to assume it's going to feel pretty good, man. So yeah, pretty cool comparisons, right? But ladies and gentlemen, what do you think about this? Because your opinion matters most. I am sorry that I am sick. I have not been sick in like a whole year, I feel like. But I'm sick now, and the only cure is going to be Nintendo Switch 2 pre-orders. So yeah, fingers crossed that happens sooner than later. If you made it to this part of the video, hit a like and subscribe. Follow your boy on Twitter and Instagram. That would really mean the world to me. And you guys know me. I'll see you very soon with a new video. Peace out.